Amazing. We should be live. Awesome. So welcome guys to the channel. I've been so excited to do this live stream for a while actually. I think this is the first one that we've done on this channel before, and I just thought it was a great opportunity for us to engage, you guys to ask some questions to get your businesses going, and basically just answer any questions that you've got that you're currently stuck on, or challenges that you feel like are holding you back at the moment. And quite a few of you have been reaching out over on Instagram, so I've already prepped those questions that you've been asking, and a couple of you also posted on our community tab on YouTube as well, which is really cool. So if there's anything that you're struggling with in your production company at the moment, then make sure you post it in the chat and we'll dive into those things. We're looking at straight in there with how to get new leads. Absolutely, we're going to cover that. And we can then take a look at anyone's websites if you want an audit of that. And we're going to spend around about 45 minutes on this as well. So we've got plenty of time. The one thing I do also want to cover is I've also got some email templates that have been sent in because we're running a live workshop actually on Thursday. That's something I'm really excited about because that's how to leverage AI in your filmmaking business. And it's just, AI has just transformed the way that we do everything. And I'm not just talking about from an editing side of thing as well. Obviously, there's loads of really good apps for that, but more so about automating our sales process and our systems and leads and lead generation and all those things. So I'm really excited about that workshop. That's going to be happening in 2 days' time. There is a link if you're not yet registered for it, so make sure you do. But this isn't that. This is your opportunity to get some questions answered as well. So let's dive straight into it as well. So I'm going to kind of jump back and forth, yeah, between the questions that I've been asked already on my Instagram page versus obviously what you guys are saying as well. Shout out to Mind Over Media Studios as well. What's going on? And so let's go into it. How to get new leads is a great question. That's something that a lot of people seemingly are stuck on at the moment as well, and the trouble is, and for those of you who don't know what a lead is as well, a lead is a set of contact details for someone who could be potentially interested in your business. So they're not yet a client because they haven't actually signed with you, but they are a lead. They're a set of details with someone that kind of fits the persona of the type of client that you want to attract. Now, the best way to get new leads really is to I generally would use Google, and I would go onto Google Maps and search the niche that you're currently in, or niche, depending on how you say it. And you're going to search on Google and look at what businesses are in that local area. And the reason I always point people towards local areas is mainly because it's the lowest hanging fruit. If you're just starting your business, it's much easier to make a sale for people in your local area because you've already got some kind of rapport and you've got an easier conversation than trying to reach out to people who aren't local. And that's my experience from growing my production company. When I started, it was definitely focused on the local area and then starting to branch out further from then as well. The other thing with leads as well, obviously, there's websites online as well that you can get lead generation from. Apollo is one of those places that you could have a look at. They're typically paid for services, so depending on what your budgets are, then that might be worth looking at that sort of side of things as well. But don't forget, there's also different ways to generate leads. They don't have to just be contact details. It could be signing up on LinkedIn and connecting with businesses and business owners and marketing managers on there. And it can also be something as simple as going to a networking event, or a trade show. If I went to a trade show right now, let's say I'm going to a expo about food and beverage. There's loads of those around. So I would go to one of those trade shows where there's loads of exhibitors, people who are showcasing their products within the food and beverage market. And I would just go around and talk to those people. And one of the questions I got asked earlier, and I'll kind of come back to this in a moment, is actually what do you say to those people when you turn up? So I'll come back to that in a minute when I answer that person's question. But by attending these events, networking, as well as doing your due diligence online and going through Google and just looking at what businesses are in your local area, that's how you find the new leads. Now, what you're probably asking by that question is, leads, you can be really fooled by quantity over quality. And with quantity, you could have 10,000 leads and you might say, well, that's amazing. But I'd much rather just 100 leads that are really good and that are your ideal customer. And so the easiest way to think about that is, yes, you're going to have to put in more time and more effort to get those new leads by doing your research yourself, by putting yourself in positions and thinking, okay, my ideal customer is this business. Where do that business hang out? Where are they going? Are they going to networking events and look to attend those? So yeah, from a lead side of things, that's something that's definitely really important. Gustavo said, what's the best way to charge by value instead of hours and day rate? Yeah, this is a great question. I actually did a podcast on this channel with Santino, who's a sales expert, and I think it was called How This Sales Expert Sells Hundreds of Thousands of Dollars Every Year. Something like that. You'll be able to find it easy enough. And we had this conversation about value-based pricing. Now, my firm belief in this is that value-based pricing, it can be really confusing to people who are beginners and intermediates. It generally really comes into its own when you're further down the line. And that's because it's understanding the value that you bring and having that proper conversation with the client. And a lot of people who we know through our academy, when they implement this value-based pricing at the start, they say, well, Ross, I've just landed a client for $10,000 or $5,000, a big number. And they say, but I haven't got any other work in. And then when we go through this whole kind of sales process and sales modules, it starts to become apparent that that the value-based pricing is letting them down because they're not having the right kind of conversations and questions. Personally speaking, in my production company, we work on day rates. So our value is based on that day rate because it still comes down to a price at the end of the day. And clients will want to see some kind of tangible evidence or tangible breakdown. So I personally think that a great way to charge is actually based on a day rate, but include your value in that. So if I just provide a little bit more insight. So let's say a great way to work this out is to work out how much money do you want to make this year. Okay, so take that figure, let's say $100,000, and then you're going to work out basically how much time have you got to work. So you're working a 40-hour week, and what does that actually look like? And then again, I've gone over this on the channel as well. But when you then start to divide those numbers, it gives you an idea of what your hourly rate would be to hit that target. And then you want to inflate that based on all the other metrics that you'll be looking at around it. So your equipment and your experience. And that then starts to really bring up that day rate into, the hundreds and the thousands. And then that's also caters for those times where you're not actually working, because you won't be working every day. There's obviously, that's not feasible. So that's what we do, and to be transparent about it as well, I'd much rather tell you the ways that we work rather than what other people do, because there's a huge, there's a huge argument between the two and what's better. We just kind of we kind of put our value into our day rate as well. So hopefully that helps. If any of this, by the way, you feel like it needs a little bit more in depth, and then just post another comment as well. We can dive into that. For me personally, it's always hard because I could sit here and I could do obviously a whole 20 minutes, 40 minutes on just this one topic, and go into lots of detail. But I just want to kind of give you a good ballpark to go in for now as well. So hopefully that does help. So Ian Finch, how do I create a professional Instagram account? Do I put my portfolio there? Oh, I've just got a show button. Look at that. I didn't even know that. You guys probably think I'm just making this up. I'm 10 minutes into this live stream. Yeah, cool, amazing. So Ian, how it's the little things, isn't it? It's also been a long day. So how do I create a professional Instagram account? Do I put all of my portfolio there? What are your thoughts? Yeah. So we're talking about marketing here. We're talking about inbound marketing as well, where a lead comes to you, where a potential client sees your work through Instagram and then they come to you. And now, how do you create a professional account? Well, you put your best work on there, and they say put out the work that you want to attract, and that's really, really true. So if we would adapt our Instagram at any given time, and just for complete transparency as well, we haven't posted on Instagram for ages. And that's because we're focused on outbound marketing at the moment. We're going to circle back around, and we're starting to actually, we're going to be employing someone to handle our marketing in-house soon as well. So we're just kind of sidelining that. But what we did when we were doing it is depending on the conversations we were having. So if we wanted to go down, let's say automotive as a niche, then we would just post our automotive content, because what it's good for is when you're having conversations with anyone, whether it's via email, whether it's through direct message on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, they're going to go and have a look at your social media as well as your website. So I would recommend putting your portfolio there as well. So yeah, definitely it's going to make you look more professional. We did a 3-grid layout. The only problem with that is it just was a nightmare. It meant that we went for the look and impact on our Instagram page versus the likes, and that's the other thing to remember as well. Like, who are you trying to impress here? Is it a business that lands on your page and sees some amazing work and wants to work with you? Or is it your friends who say, that's really cool, and you want as many likes as you can for validation? So there's some things to really think about with that. I love this new button. That's awesome. I feel like I'm going to get inundated with these comments really quick as well. So let's skim through some of these. So Irish films. Let's show this. I haven't read this yet. Ross, I always just price per job. Never have a set price. If it's a new business, the price would be lower. Yeah, that's a tricky point, because I used to do this where I used to just price per job. I didn't have set day rates. By the way, by having day rates doesn't mean you have a set price, because you obviously use a multiple of that. So if you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 people attending the shoot, then your filming rate goes up by that amount. And the same with editing, that's a variable as well. So is pre-production and obviously all the miscellaneous items. The challenge that I faced with this, by the way, and not everyone faces this challenge, but when we were growing at quite some rate, is we would do some work for a new business. They looked like a small business. They didn't look like they had a lot of money. So we did them, we did them a better rate basically to win that business. They then went and referred us to another client who has a big business, a multi-7-figure business. And they're expecting the rates that we just did for this small business. Now, we obviously explained to them that, the videos are different, but they were saying, no, we just want something like that. And then that become really hard. And you also then forget what prices you've said to different people as well. So in my personal opinion, what works best for our team is just everyone being on that same kind of same line when it comes to day rates, and just knowing roughly how much a video project's gonna be. Because one of the main questions we get asked is, give me a ballpark. How much roughly is a video gonna cost? We can give them a range, and it makes it a little bit more tangible again as well. Fantastic, David. So question, income tax is roughly 20%. Should we add 20% profit margin to our services? So tricky question. Depends where you are in the world. When you have tax in America, it's completely different to the UK. Over in the UK as well, you obviously have your kind of personal income tax, and that's different to our VAT tax system. I won't spend much time on here because I fear that all the American and rest of the world people are probably just going to keep kicking off here. But your profit margin should be much more than that anyway. If it's just you in your business and you're a one-man band, so to speak, then my advice would be, your profit margin should be somewhere around about 50 to 80%. To give you an idea, how would you work that out? Well, how much money do you want to make this year? Personally, in your pocket, after you've paid tax, how much money do you want to earn? If it's at 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, then you'll need to do some maths to work that out. But that's basically, that's it. When you're growing a production company, you've got a team of people like us, and you're employing non-revenue producing roles. That might be administration, it might be account managing, those kind of things. Our profit margins do shrink quite a bit. We obviously invest quite a lot in camera gear. But yeah, typically, if you're a one-man band, 80% profit margin, it is great, and that's where you should kind of be around as well. Tax is a bit different; you can't avoid it. You obviously have to pay tax as well. I just realized, David, you said in Canada. I'm not so sure of the rules over there, but hopefully that advice will still kind of point you in the right direction as well. Fantastic, cool. So, I've got some good questions here, Asher and Detail Media as well. So I'm going to dive into them. So let's go. I feel so bad for like letting people down. I'm such a people pleaser and people person that I want to make sure I answer everyone, but I'm also conscious that people on Instagram have also reached out. So I'll go a little bit back and forth as well. So let's have a look here, Gustavo. This is where I need someone else just to load up the questions for me. It would make my life a bit easier. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at this one. So Gustavo, while your company is small, would you be an employee on it and pay yourself that way, or would you pay yourself dividends as a shareholder? Again, depends what country you're in. Over in the UK, I would pay myself in dividends as a shareholder. There's a taxable or tax-free allowance. My advice with all of this is always to get financial advice from a professional. I'm not a professional. I can only speak from my own experience, but that's how I pay myself. Through dividends and through also PAYE as well. That's typical for most business owners, to be fair, but it does vary. I have a great accountant, and I let them advise me on those things because that's their job. They're better at it than I am. So rather than second guess myself, I'd rather do that. So yeah, just as a heads up, I would remain that way. Okay, fantastic. Let's have a quick look at this. Ardy, great stuff. So Ross, I've been asked to do a presentation for the board meeting of the company before we can go ahead with the job. Yeah. What should I include? They've already seen the proposal, but have asked for a presentation, I guess. Cool. So, you want to keep it simple, really. So the first page will be your answer, your acknowledgement to their brief. So they've already seen the proposal. So the first page is just a recap. This is a recap of what you said you wanted, and this is a recap of what we said we were going to do. Sounds like you're in the next stage where you've already given them like an idea of a proposal and they're happy, but they just want a presentation. So it'll probably be delivering it to their board members as well, so they're further people in the business. And this is actually something that I think, as a lot of people when they're starting out and growing their businesses, they will not think that this is relevant until something like this happens, and then they're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And I've been in this situation a lot of times as I've been growing as well. When you go into this meeting, you'll just break down in a little bit more detail. So this is the proposal. This is actually how we're now going to action it. So I would include maybe some kind of loose storyboard. This is how we see it going. This is what we're looking to produce, what we're looking to deliver. And you're basically taking the proposal that you've already given them, which is your idea of how you can help them. And you're just taking it one step further now. So when you're presenting it to the board, they're going to have some questions about costs, timescales, how quick can you get this done? What team are involved on the project, if it's just you or a wider team. And then again, just acknowledge that you've listened to their concerns previously or their brief previously as well. You always want to make sure that you do that. Should be a very short document. Do the talking, interact with them, ask them questions, keep the presentation short, not a lot of text. Yeah, it makes it a lot nicer as well for them. Okie dokie. Great. Fantastic. So Ross, I hope you guys are liking this format, by the way, as well. I'm loving it at the moment. I feel like I'm on a roll. We're already kind of almost 20 minutes in. So I will dive into a few other things in a second. I didn't really have much of a format. I wanted it to be quite organic, so we could just dive in here and just get this kind of going. That's kind of the whole point, right? Sometimes you've just got to press play, press record, get going, go live, and then see how it works, figure out the rest out from there. So let me know as well if you are enjoying it. I'd love to give some feedback. That would be awesome as well. And don't forget, we also on the 5th of October, so 2 days time, we've got our live workshop where we're talking about AI and leveraging that to build a profitable videography business. That is an interactive session. So if you can't easily handle feedback, then I wouldn't suggest joining. But it's going to be an interactive session, and we're going to be breaking a lot of structure down. It's your opportunity to ask some questions there as well. But more importantly, we've also got a whole presentation outlined into how we use AI in our own business. We'll give you all the tools. We'll let you know all the good apps to use. And again, we're not just talking about the editing side of things here, which is really common nowadays. We're talking about the sales, the lead generation, the signing these clients on the long-term retainers and things like that as well. So there's a link in the description. Make sure you sign up for that. That would be awesome. Love to see some of you there as well. So, Asha, so hi Ross, how would someone who already runs a successful production company scale to the next level? I mean, we're still going, and I think like a reality is, does that do you ever get to that next level? Like, of course you do, but we've scaled through so many levels in our time, and we're still trying to get to that next level. And that's why on my YouTube channel, as hopefully you guys already understand, we are really just focused on being transparent, taking you through the highs and the lows, not just talking about successes all the time, but actually just being transparent and the hardship of being, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a solopreneur for some of you who are just on your own. So if you already run a successful production company, you want to scale to that next level, I would say the best thing that's helped us is to look at what other production companies are doing, people who you aspire to be, and we plot them on a graph. So we have a graph, and maybe in future, by the way, I'll become a bit more prepared. I'll plug another monitor and I can do some drawing and things like that. But we'd plot a graph where you've got a line down the middle and a line across, and you would call these two lines whatever you want. One might be quality, the other might be price. It could be anything, okay? And this is how you're going to grade the more successful production companies that you're aspiring to be. You're going to look at those brands that you aspire to be, and you're going to plot them on this graph. And then you're going to plot yourself on this graph, so you can get a good understanding of where you sit versus where your your aspiring production companies sit. And that really helps us identify what were we doing that isn't enabling us to get to that level, that next level for us. So once we started to look at them, we started to just adapt and like take that strategy and start to apply it ourselves and start to think about, okay, does our website need changing? Is our terminology correct? Are we going going after the right type of work? How do we want to shift people's perception of us? It's called a perceptual map, and I would definitely say do that. It provided us with a real good roadmap, and it's something we do with our academy members a lot as well. We have a module for those who don't know. I have an online platform that's almost like it's the business school for filmmakers is what it is, and it is step-by-step videos. We have live sessions, Q&As, all of that stuff as well. And this is something that comes up where we talk about positioning, and that's or often at any stage of your business, whether you're a successful production company or you're a beginner, that's something that's always tricky. You're always answering that same question: where am I in compared to the rest of the market? Am I the cheapest but the best quality? That's not a great place to be, is it? Am I the cheapest and the lowest quality? Well, maybe that's where I should be. Maybe I should start to increase my quality, etc. Really helps you understand your business. Was amazing for us. So yeah, hopefully that helps as well. Lovely, cool. Cool, awesome. So let's dive into this detail media as well. I've got a couple more questions on here. I'll dive into the Instagram questions as well. Make sure you stick around as well. I want to dive into a few emails that aren't working very well for people at the moment, and kind of some changes, because any of you who are doing outreach or email outreach, we're going to cover a huge amount of that in our workshop on the 5th of October. But for now, I'm going to provide a little bit of insight to help you as well, because people will obviously watch this video after that event too. So what services come to mind when you price your regular content plans? Is it just video and content strategy? Again, funny enough, I'm going to probably be talking about this for about half an hour to an hour in that workshop, because this is a huge game changer. It's what took me from working out of a desk in my parents' living room to having a full scale production company, team of people, and all of that stuff, which is really awesome. This is the one thing that helped me get there. What services come to mind, typically speaking, is just film and photo. They're the two that we would do. I would actually have strategy as a separate payment. So I would charge them for the strategy, because that's all the ideas and thinking. That strategy session would be a set amount, normally a few £1,000s or a few $1,000, and then we would have, as part of that strategy, to move them onto a regular content plan. And with that, we would then be charging them, a monthly fee. And again, I can dive into that through our workshop. But the services would just be for video and photo. There have been occasions where we have also added another service on there, which would be social media management, and that would be under a separate contract. And the reason we keep them as separate contracts is because a client might turn around and say, we want to do our ads ourselves. This has happened to us in the past. We want to do our ads ourselves in-house. We've got an ads guy now. And then it's like, okay, no problem, but we've still got this contract for film and photo as well. So it's nice to kind of keep them as separate contracts. And then we would do a strategy session as a paid for thing as well. So yeah, hopefully that helps you as well. Cool. So I'm going to say final one in here for a second, and then I'm going to just circle back. We've got a comment that will come up about door-to-door sales, and that ties in with some questions that have been asked on Instagram as well. And then we'll finish it off by looking at some email templates. So make sure you do stick around. So how often should I follow up and pursue clients that have already met with to produce videos? During the meetings, they seemed excited, but they haven't really committed after. Yeah, that's heartbreaking, that is, isn't it? That's a standard thing that happens is you have a conversation with a client, and then unfortunately, it seems positive, and next thing, it all falls to the side. So in terms of follow-up, it's completely acceptable to, once we've had a meeting with a client, we would say to them on that meeting, okay, so when can I expect to hear back from you if you're looking to make a decision? They would give us a date and say, okay, that's fine. So if I was to follow up, if they say, look, give us till Friday, we'll get back to you. I say, okay, yep, no problem at all. Is it okay to follow up with you, next week if I haven't heard from you? And they'll go, yeah, it's fine, but we'll get back to you this week. And then if they don't, you've already got their permission to message them. If they then, if they air your message and then they don't get back to you, then so I've just seen some love in the chat. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate that. I'm obviously I do all of this out of just the fulfillment, and I really do enjoy it. So the fact that you guys engage with it as well is awesome. It's been an amazing journey. I really want to continue growing the channel as well. Sorry, I get sidetracked easy, in case you can't tell. But yes, going back to following up and pursuing clients. Yes, after, if they just air your message, then what I would then do is I would then leave it a couple of days, send them another message, then leave it a week, send them a message. And then after I've done that, I would then pretty much leave it a month and send a message. And then another month, send a message. And then I would just leave it maybe 6 months time, because you never know. And that's the most frustrating thing. I'd much rather have a definitive client say, no, this isn't for us, we don't want to work with you, than have a client that is, oh yeah, this sounds great, this sounds amazing, then you don't hear from them because they might not get back to you. And that's a real problem, a real challenge that a lot of people face in their business as well. So yeah, follow up with them like that. By the way, when I'm saying I would email them, follow up, give them a call as well. Literally, don't be worried to give them a call and just say, hey, yeah, have you got an idea with this? And then every so often they might just say, yeah, sorry, it's not the right time. Hopefully in the earlier stages of lead generation and picking your niche and understanding your ideal customer persona, we're going to, again, talk about this on the workshop. But with doing that really helps put you in touch with the right people as well. So make sure you're talking to decision makers, and rather than anyone who might waste your time, talking to the decision makers is always key as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump over to some questions I got asked on Instagram as well, before just diving into some emails at the very end of this session as well, just so we can provide some value. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below as well, just whether or not you like this format. I'd like to think it's something that we could do regularly, maybe once a month to start off with, maybe once a week from then on as well. It really depends what the feedback's like for you guys, because it's not like one of my YouTube videos. By the way, none of my YouTube videos are scripted. They're just bullet points, and then I kind of like, we'll talk about those things. So I'm only ever talking about my personal experience. I'm not trying to take something from someone else and then re-pitch it. So it's easier for me to talk about it. But this is a little bit less structured. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on that. So I've got a couple of questions here, and I'll just skim through these. So on Instagram, we are honed. Do I market my personal brand or business brand? Personally speaking, business brand, but it depends on what you want. Do you want to be a DP? A few of my friends are directors of photography, and that's their personal brand. They work for production companies. They're amazingly talented at what they do, and they then promote their personal brand, their personal business. I always wanted a production company. So when I utilized Instagram, LinkedIn, or anything, even when it was just me as a one-man band on my own in my parents' living room, I would say, hi, I'm Ross from Perspective Studios. I have a production company. And people would say, who have you got working for you, Ross? And I would say, oh, it's just me. But we also have like a team of creatives that we work with as well. Now that's really common nowadays as well. So don't ever, I used to feel really, um, what's the word? I was scared that they would run away. I was scared that these potential clients wouldn't want to work with me if they knew it was just me. And as it turns out, there's so many multi-million dollar agencies or pound agencies in London that are literally just one or two people, and they outsource the rest as well, which is the more I discovered that, the more I was like, I've got nothing to worry about. But my positioning was always as a business. I didn't want it to be Ross. I didn't want it to be my name. I wanted it to be the business. So it helps you grow, I think, in the long run, because when you employ a team of people, if you want a production company, that is, and it was called Ross Welch Films, I've now got to explain to all of the clients why I'm not the one doing the filming. So you can kind of tie yourself into having a job rather than having a business where you can employ people. So for me, that was a huge thing. Okay, Lewis Max Film, how to do less projects and earn more. That's the secret, isn't it? RCP, retainers, regular content plans is exactly how you do that. You can literally sign 5 clients and you would be turning over more than $100,000 with ease. I don't want to break this down too much now. I've got a load of other questions as well. But on this event on the 5th of October, I will be spending about half an hour to probably 40 minutes or so talking about this topic and how to do that. So yeah, if you're not registered for that, it's free to attend. It's live, it's interactive, it's a workshop as well. So yeah, if you've got a few hours free, then make sure you join it as well. It'd be awesome. If you are watching this, by the way, after, obviously it's live now, but it will remain on the channel. And if you're watching this after, then we'll probably have a link to one of our previous training sessions that we've recorded as well. So UO.media epiphanies, and if you've had any that completely transformed your business, yeah, it was the realization, again, linking to the RCP system, having a retainer, having a predictable business, knowing how much I was going to get paid every month rather than not knowing where that money was coming from. The epiphany really came from, I was working a lot with agencies. Agencies were knocking me down on price and they were charging their clients a fortune. It seemed that they were the ones making all the money and I was the one kind of struggling and not knowing where the work was coming in next. And I just thought there's got to be an easier way. I hated the feast of famine. I hated the fact that some months were really busy and we were making money, and then the next couple of months we were dead. We had literally, I had a December and January that I earned £500 in the months combined, so £250 a month. That's like, not enough to live on, and that was scary. And I was like, there has to be a solution, and that's how we developed the RCP as well. So I want to jump in with a question that I got asked earlier as well. So this came up on my Instagram, and this is from David Singer or Rans 4. What to say when going door to door offering video services? Someone else also asked me this over in our chat on YouTube as well. I'm just flicking back and forth. Emiya J Films, maybe I've messed that. I'm so terrible with names anyway. So what do you actually say when going door to door? First of all, this is my same pitch, by the way, when I go walk around trade shows or things like that, is you don't want to sell them. They're not going to buy from you there and then. They're not going to say, here, take my money. That's the dream that everyone wants. It's just not going to happen. So really, you just want to identify and establish a relationship, and you want to just ask them honestly if you're the right fit for them. So I would generally say to someone, if I was going up to a stand, I would say, this is a stand at a trade show, by the way. I'll talk through this and then how I would adapt it. So I would say, oh, hey guys, how are you? Stand looks awesome, looks really, really cool. What is it exactly that you do? And they would explain and want to know about their product. Oh, that's really cool. And how does that work? Or what does this do? Oh, really cool. Amazing. And then they probably ask you some questions about you. But if not, you can say, look, I just got a question for you. I'm actually a videographer, and I was just wondering, do you have anyone that does your video marketing at the moment? And they would then often say, no, we don't. Or they might say, oh, yeah, we do. We actually have someone. And if they say they've got someone, then we would say, oh, awesome. No worries. Is that in-house or is that outsourced. And if they say in-house, then you know, it's fine, dead end, really. If they say, oh no, we outsource someone, we get a freelancer, and you say, okay, amazing. Presuming you're happy with them, or if you don't mind, like, can I send you an email so you've got our details as well? And then if you ever think we're the right fit, well, I'd love to have a chat. And usually they're quite forthcoming, or at that point they say, and I've had this before, they say, oh yeah, actually we're having some problems with them actually at the moment, and they describe the things they don't like, and then you have a better conversation. The other option, by the way, is when you say, do you have anyone that covers your video marketing services at the moment? They say no. And you say, okay, amazing. Like, would you mind if I just take down your email address and I can send you over some information and maybe we can book in a meeting? If I'm at a show, then I want to have a meeting later on as well, because they're going to be busy. They're going to be wanting to make sales and speak to people. I always make sure I'm speaking to the marketing manager or the business owner though as well. So that's one of the questions that I would throw in there. Door-to-door service offering is something like over here in the UK, by the way. Let me just take a quick drink. Something over here in the UK isn't that common. It's quite frowned upon, or can be. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I know that in the US we have a lot of people in the US. About a third of our members in our academy are actually from the US, which is absolutely awesome and huge. And we talk to them a lot. We bring them on our Q&A sessions to kind of talk about how it differs as well. And yeah, going door to door is a great service offering as well. And my structure would still be the same. It would be to go in and just say, hey, excuse me. And hopefully you've done your research already and know if there's a marketing manager or a business owner and know their name. Just be, hey, excuse me, is John around? Because you probably have to get past a gatekeeper. A gatekeeper is anyone in the business that is going to probably stop you from getting to that. So it could be their personal assistant. It could be the receptionist. It could be a member of staff, depending on what the business is. But you want to speak to a decision maker. You don't want to pitch your whole sales pitch to the intern, right? It's wasting everyone's time. So excuse me, is John around? I'd just just want to have a quick chat to him just about video marketing, or I'd love to have a chat to him about your website. And then hopefully you have a chat with John. I'll go down that same route. Hey, I'm Ross from Perspective. We have a production company. Look, I noticed you, and I actually just thought I was passing. It was much better for me just to pop in, and then I would go into what I've just said before as well. So a softer approach. I'm not a hard salesperson. Two types of salespeople. You've got a hunter, goes out there, I will make a sale no matter what, and then you've got a farmer, someone who nurtures the leads. I'm much more of a farmer. I nurture those relationships. In your business, in order for it to grow, you need both of those kind of people. You can't just grow your business with just one type. You need both of them. You need the hunter to go out there, get them, bring them in, and then you need the farmers to look after them and make sure that that tree grows into, you know, this big fruit tree basically, and you look after them for many years. Our retention rate in our business is huge. Most businesses stay with us for like 5 or 6 years, and typically we outgrow them quicker than they outgrow us. For most, I talk about retainers for the most part as well, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at this question. This was, I'm going to jump back into YouTube briefly, just have a quick skim through that, and then we'll go into emails in a second as well. So I've actually just picked up another good one as well. Do you have advice for getting frequent clients as a freelance video editor who specializes in editing trailers for films? Yeah. Okay. So a regular content plan is probably not something that's going to work that well for you because of the niche. Because if you're just focusing on editing trailers for films, then you know, once that trailer is done for that film, then you'll probably have to wait a year before they create the next film. So this is where you need to understand your ideal customer, and you want to think about what other opportunities are there as well. So frequent clients as a video editor. If I were you, I feel like if this was me in that situation, and I needed to go and get some clients for other editing trailers for films, then I would be thinking, well, where are those kind of people hanging out? I'm going to assume, by the way, I'm just going to assume by our kind of like audience feedback and things like that, that this person is, you know, kind of like small, medium, you know, kind of starting out, maybe been going for a few years, but not kind of like high end, you know, films for, you know, Marvel, for instance, or DC, or, you know, those kind of things, right? So in which case I'd be looking at like the indie circuit. I'd be looking at where are those people hanging out? Where are they spending their time? And how can I approach them? And approaching those kind of people on a more casual basis on Instagram, DMs, were probably going to be a better approach, in my opinion. The other thing is maybe LinkedIn, or again, just looking at what platforms might they be involved in that you can talk to about that as well. Now, the other thing you might want to think about is a package. So you might want to say to them, and this is where it comes to like, maybe you don't need more customers. This is a typical problem that a lot of businesses face is a lot of businesses don't need more clients. They just need to charge more. They need to increase their invoice value. So maybe you say to them, hey, you know, we're working on this project for you for this film, for this trailer. You know, you might have a couple of trailers, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about converting this into a TikTok or into an Instagram reel, or if you thought about doing this? And then you start to, you know, elaborate on your services more. And also, once the film's been released, what kind of stuff are you doing to draw that promo material back in? Is there a way that we can work together long term? And just ask your clients. Not enough people ask their clients, is there a way that we can be, you know, working with each other more? That's such a great question. I had a client in here the other day in our studio, and I asked him that same question. I just said, you know, one of the things I've got for you is, how can we work together more? You know, what can we be doing to work more with each other? And we identified a load of opportunities. They're existing clients that we weren't connected to, but they've done work for in the past, were the right fit for video content. Their websites needed renewing, and therefore video content was a great thing to sell, you know, in line with that as well. So that's where we had that conversation, and you know, that's gonna, you know, come off for sure as well, which is awesome. So let me dive back into quickly just some of our YouTube comments. We've got loads in here as well, which is great. And I'm just going to pick out one or two, and then we'll just end the last few minutes just by going through some emails as well. So door-to-door marketing, yeah, phone calls, cold calling is the best, by the way, as well. That was just Irish Image Films just mentioning that, yeah, in Ireland for them, it didn't work that well. That's fine. Okay, fantastic. Let me just have a quick skim through here. Okay, do you charge for content licensing? Let's say it's a video to be used with paid marketing and being played on the resort premises, either short term or perpetuality. I think it is perpetuity. Okay, that's maybe not a word that I can say. So the answer to that is we don't. I know people who do. Personally speaking, I think it becomes quite complex. And I do know some people in the US that charge for this, and that's the way that they really scaled their business. I just think you need to have the right type of clients, and knowing my audience well enough, I honestly think I think that it's better to, or it's easier, it's more straightforward basically for us just to work with them, increase our rates, give that to them, and that's for them to use however they want. Otherwise it becomes quite complex. Sorry, I was just reading your other comment that just said, yes, for anyone else it means forever. I personally knew that's what it meant. I just can't say the word for whatever reason. So yes, I personally think, you know, you're agreeing to the price for the video, and that's what, you know, these are conversations that should come up in pre-production, and yeah, hopefully that helps you, which by this comment I'm suggesting that does as well. So yeah, we don't do that. Personally, I think it makes it a bit cumbersome. However, I know people who are doing it really successfully. I can't speak on their behalf, unfortunately. That's not something, yeah, I'd rather just this is transparent of me as well, you know, like I don't talk about things that I don't know about. I can only talk about my opinion and what I would do in these situations, and hopefully that's really helpful for you. Right, probably one on here, and I'm going to dive into email real quick as well. So what is a good cold approach for Instagram and emails? I often feel like robotish, like a spammer doing cold approaches. What's the best message length? Okay, emails I'm going to dive into literally in a second as well, and so I'll cover that. And then Instagram, try multimedia messages. So send them a video. That used to work really well for us, and then just keep it really short. Hey, I love your product, love what you do. would love to work together. Here's some, examples of the type of things that we could do. Try and inspire them on Instagram as well. So keep it short, make it feel human as well. Follow them, interact with them, and you're going to get a much better success rate, reply rate as well, by the way. So yeah, send them a video. Hi, I'm Ross from Perspective Studios. I was just having a look at your Instagram page, and I think it's awesome. I've been following you now for a couple of weeks just to see what you've been up to, and I really think you'd be a great fit for our business, and I'd love to work with you. I'll leave a link below to some types of work that we've done in the past that could help you do the same thing. If you're interested in having a chat, let's book in a meeting. Remember, your only thing here is to book in a meeting as well. I said it was one more. I said that was the last one, but I'll do this one. Hi, Ross. In your opinion, doing work for free to build connections? The free work, yeah, this is a tricky one, right? Obviously, making sure the client has the right expectations. Is that something you would suggest? Yes, I am not against free work. You will see so many people on YouTube, and maybe I would grow quicker if I took this approach. But you see so many people saying, don't do work for free, know your value, charge 10 grand for her project. It's just not in the real world. Like that just doesn't happen. If you don't have a portfolio, for instance, every time we go into a new sector, right? So let's say we're going to go into yachting. Yachting's the only thing I can think of. Boats. Let's say we go into boats, right? So when we go onto boats, and we don't have any portfolio, the first question the client's going to ask is, can I see some examples of your work? And if I've only got fitness and sports, it's not really going to fit with the boat stuff, right? So to quickly build that credibility, I'm going to do some work for free to quickly film some boats, build up a quick show reel, quick portfolio that I can at least show them as well. Building connections, yes, you can lead into that. It's called a free to fee model. So you work with them on a free basis to build up your experience and portfolio, but on the understanding that next time it will be a paid thing and you will be charging your day rates. Just be super clear and transparent with them at the start about that as well. That's exactly what I would suggest doing. I'm not against it. At this point in my business growth, it's very rare that we do these things. Usually we can always get paid for it, even if we're entering a new market because of the value we've brought elsewhere. But I'm not against doing stuff for free if it's the right fit. But you have to ask yourself that honest question: does this benefit you? If it doesn't benefit you, then don't do it. Because I've made that mistake in the past where it doesn't really benefit me. I just thought it was it was good as well. Awesome. So I want to share my screen real quick, and I just want to talk you through a couple of emails. I'm not going to have time to go through all of this, which is sadly, when I spoke about my live event, I've now lost my whole entire screen, which is absolutely amazing. I will get better at this, I promise. You're back. I've still got this thing come up as well. Here we go. Let me just remove this quickly. Sorry, Lynn Newman. Fantastic. Cool. Right. So when I've had people join or register their free spot at this event that's happening on the 5th of October, so 2 days time, for our workshop, they have I've asked them to message, or I've asked some people to message me an example of their emails that they're sending out, because I want to break this down in the event. But I've actually been inundated with so many emails that I just wanted to pull a couple into here and just provide some real quick value, because I'm going to skim through this, because there's no point. You could have 1,000 leads that are really good quality leads. They're perfect. They're looking for what you're selling right now, and you send them a crappy email, and that's where you lose them. So let me just dive into this for a second. Wonderful. So this was an email example here. Hi, Ross. Obviously just making out to the business owner. Hi, Ross. I hope you're doing well. Recently, we have seen a spot grow in our business, and we feel like we need to fill it with our perfect client. Upon searching on various channels and doing some research, we have found your business and think it would be a perfect fit. I'll break this down as I go through it. It seems very I understand there's a kind of a scarcity tactic here. Scarcity is good, but it just feels like it's not real. It's disingenuous. If I was reading this, remember, anyone reading your email is going to be thinking, do I need to delete this? Do I know this person? They're the questions they're asking themselves in their head. Is this important? Do I need to know about this? This feels like it's probably just something that's written to everyone. So I think there's a way of rewording that. And actually, I would have scarcity right at the end of it as well. We're a creative agency specializing in the art of content creation, having helped some of the biggest brands achieve more on social platforms. We work with brands such as Harley Davidson, Shell UK, and believe that your business will allow us to bring a whole new side of content creation to life. I think we need to schedule a meeting to see how we can further help progress, to see if my first thought of our two brands working together would be ideal for the betterment of both businesses. Look forward to hearing back from you, Ross. Okay, so just a couple of other points. This was totally fine. I would assume that the brands that you're reaching out to, or the businesses you're reaching out to, would also, this would be in line with them. You only want to say we've worked with brands such as, but try and give an example. Try and link to some work. It's much more important as well. I think we need to schedule a meeting. You can condense all of this down much quicker into, would you be against having a quick meeting? Would you be against having, a 10-minute chat just to see if we're the right fit? I did say about putting scarcity at the end. Maybe you could bring it in sooner, but I just think there's a way of condensing all of this down. And there's nothing really personal. You haven't really said to them, what is it about their business? There's no rapport building. Oh, we think that you're great. They could go to anyone. What is it about their business? Hey, I've seen your business, and I know, let's say it's a solar panel company. I've seen your business, and I love the fact that your solar panels do this, which in my experience of the industry is different to everyone else. We've actually produced some content for the likes of XYZ that are in a similar industry. And I think that type of work really help showcase your stuff on your website or social media as well. By the way, your website doesn't have any videos on there at the moment. So would you be interested in having a chat where I can share some of my ideas? Way more powerful, way more condensed, feels like it's made for them, not generic. Another example here from Aaron. Dear, obviously, Ross, I hope this email finds you well. I recently came across your company's website and was impressed by the properties you have listed. However, I noticed that the quality of the pictures and videos could be improved. Yeah, not totally against that as well. Yeah, not totally against that, to be fair. As a professional photographer, videographer, and marketeer, quite lengthy. Try and maybe just pick one. I just noticed, like, my first impression, open this email, a lot of text. Really, I just want to get to the point quite quick. I'm a slow reader. I don't like reading. So for me, I'm instantly normally like, if I feel like it's sales, it's going in the bin. If it's important, they can message me back. That's pretty much a busy business owner's life for you, which I'm sure some of you can relate to. I've worked with several real estate companies and have seen firsthand how high quality visuals can make all the difference in attracting potential buyers and renters. In today's digital age, people are more likely to view a property online before visiting in person, and having visually appealing pictures and videos can greatly increase traffic to your properties. Yes, this is absolutely fine. I think we can just thin it down a little bit and also give some, okay, is this factual? Is this actually factually true? I'm guessing it is, but if you can back it up with, a reference as well, it makes it more meaningful. You can even put in brackets, by the way, I haven't just made that up. Here's the link to the statistics. It makes it feel more human, and that's really important here. And again, links to your work, much better. Links to, here you go. Here's some stuff that we've done for these people, and they've seen this result. That's more powerful. That's the line you want to go down, right? I would love to discuss with you how improving the quality of your visuals can benefit. That sounds boring. I've got some great ideas I'd love to share with you. Would you like a chat? That's way more powerful, right? Brief 10-minute call to discuss further. That's really cool. I like that as well. Yeah. But yeah, I've got some ideas. I want to share them with you. Let's jump on a call. That's more exciting. Below, you'll find a link to my latest example of my work. Right. Think about people's mindset. Where are they deleting it? Are they reading your entire email before they delete it? Or if they think that it's salesy and they don't want you, then are they deleting it sooner? They're probably deleting it sooner. So that's why we want to link it in here, make it all a bit shorter. Fantastic. I've got two more I just want to run through, and then I'm going to show you an example of a really good email that got sent to me, and that was really good. So this is from someone whose native language is not English, so it's put in Polish. So we'll kind of allow allow some room here as well. So Subject line: competitors' business are doing an amazing job. Note that competitors' business is their competitor, by the way. The idea is to catch their attention, and I've used this tactic before. Does work well. Absolutely great subject line. Morning, Martin. To save your time, I recorded a short video message for you. I would assume they're probably not going to click on it because they don't know what it is. Okay, so we need a couple more lines in there as well. The message reads like this. So the video message, I'm guessing, is: while researching the market of swimming pools, I noticed that some of your competitors in Poland are leveraging content marketing via TikTok and YouTube with great success. See the screenshot I've just attached from TikTok. I was surprised to see that this piece is missing in your strategy. Have you considered this direction? You could maybe change that to it's missing in your strategy. I'd love to have a quick chat to share some ideas on how you can do this, or how we can team up. Maybe then you can kind of that's the end of the thing, right? Your products have such amazing potential for this, could really boost your sales and strengthen your brand. Yes, all fine. Let me know if you'd like a chat about possibilities. I'm fascinated with video in business, and as of September I pursued this as a full-time direction. I'd love to help. Probably don't need that end bit, to be honest with you. You can probably just skip before that as well. I think you're positioned really well. This is a great message for a VSL, video sales letter. Really great, good work. I would just work on this. You want them to open it. So, hey Martin, I was just taking a quick look at your website and I came up with some ideas that can really help leverage it. We've been looking at your competitors and they're doing this really well. Rather than me explain it in an email, just click this link. There's going to be a video of me explaining it to you. Let me know what you think. They're much more likely to click it that way. Is going to be helpful. So just before that was the screenshot to which I really like. That I love bringing on screenshots, statistics. It makes it feel like much better email, more professional. So final email before I show you a really good one here as well. So dear name, most high-end tourism businesses lose out on a lot of revenue by not being able to properly communicate their value on an emotional level to new potential customers. We at their business focus on maximizing conversion rates and increasing customer lifetime value for our clients using the power of visual storytelling, and would love to help you get the most out of your brand positioning. Quite a lot of big words here, I feel. Would you be open for a 15-minute discovery call to determine whether or not we were a good fit and how our storytelling campaigns can measurably win you more business? Let me know what works best for you, Greg. So, few things here. It is short, which is great. I love short email. People love a short email. Yeah, I think this is good. It is a bit of a hook, to be honest with you. It definitely generates some interest. Dear name, for instance, like, hi Ross, most high-end tourism businesses lose out on a lot of revenue by not being able to properly communicate their value to emotional levels. Customers, give a case study if you can. We've seen this with this company. Now, we specialize in this and we maximize on conversion rates, increasing lifetime value of your clients by using video. I'd love to have a chat with you through. I just felt that this was a little bit like you were trying to oversell it. It's video. You can get to the point a much more, much easier as well. Sometimes I've been guilty of this where I've dived in and been like, through the power of emotionally engaging storytelling, we can measure the success of your videos and stuff. In the initial email, you're not trying to sell them and give the whole game away. You just want to get them on that meeting. And then would you be open for a 15-minute discovery call? I generally use the term chat now, but yes, this all works to determine whether or not we're a good fit. I'm going to be thinking, well, I could be wasting my time. I can't be bothered if they don't think we're a good fit. I would generally go down the line of, would you be open for a 15-minute call where I can share some ideas and case studies on how this has worked well in the industry, so we can win you more business. It kind of feels a little bit more organic. I always try and picture it on what would I say to someone in the street if I was going up and talking to them. On the whole, though, I like it. I think it's a relatively good one. All of these are good. And by the way, what works for me won't always work for everyone else. I want to provide some value with what I would do because that's going to help some of you out. And this is conversations that I've had with clients and other business owners about the kind of things that they respond well to. So I'm basing this on my own kind of research and experience. It's not to say that this stuff doesn't work. It's trial and error. It's testing, A/B test everything. Send out 100 emails with this template, send out 100 emails with that adapted template, see what works better, and then keep adapting it. That's what we've done over our time. And I'm going to be sharing these strategies with you and our framework for our emails in this live workshop that we'll be doing on the 5th of October as well. So that's really cool. So I wanted to share with you this that looks pretty good, and this was quite interesting. Sorry, actually, this was another email from Ryan. Ryan, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to. I've skipped through this one. I didn't realize I had so many. So hey Ross, I hope you're well. I was impressed with your recent YouTube video about starting a video editing agency, so I wanted to reach out directly. I know that this is AI automated and just sent to me. This is an automation that I'll actually be covering in that workshop as well. But it's written in a way where it doesn't feel like it's potentially like AI. It could be sent to me, but I get a lot of these style of messages, by the way. But anyway, this is nice. I'm already looking at it thinking it's short and sweet. So, and this is, you can apply this same to any video production company as well. You just change the, I've just seen your recent post about winning an award. That's fantastic, etc. I wanted to reach out directly. We've recently been successful in helping businesses like you to skyrocket their monthly revenue online with the help of our client acquisition YouTube funnel. Over 10 entrepreneurs have benefited from us in the past few weeks, and we're currently looking for 1 or 2 more to do the same in October, November. So that's how we brought in they brought in scarcity in a much nicer, more organic way in fewer words as well. So that's what you're doing is every email you receive and you read to the end to, you should be really thinking about what was it that made you read through, so that when you do your email marketing, you can apply similar things as well. Here's a huge thing. So if you're a bit unsure at this point, also we work on a complete pay per close basis. So you only pay them when you actually close the deal. So that's really good. So that's a huge selling point. That's their offering. I'd love to show you my plan. Do you have some time this week for a quick chat? This person has pretty much brought in all of the elements that I've been talking about today as well. Now, PS, if it's not a good fit at the moment, reply with banana. Now, that made me feel like this is automated as well, because replying with banana will basically take you out of their automation. It might not be, but that was my feel. But anyway, I thought that was a great email template that I wanted to share with you. That is, there's a lot of take home from that as well. So that's it. That's our first live session on this channel, and I really hope you guys have appreciated it. If you're not signed up for that live event on the 5th of October, it's a workshop. It's going to be interactive. Honestly, I've packed in so much value. I'm so excited as well, because it's all about AI and leveraging AI for your business. It's transformed the way that we've done stuff here. It's literally been like adding a few more employees into our business as well, and that's really helped just make the process easier, bring in more leads, more traffic, more money, more profit, and that's been awesome. So I can't wait to deliver that workshop. So make sure you've clicked the link in the description and you sign up to that as well. Thank you for all your love and support as well on the channel. I really appreciate that. If you haven't seen it, by the way, we gave away $500 to a guy to start his business. So make sure you go and check out that video, as well as recently I broke down 6 kind of reasons that people get stuck in their levels of business as well. So definitely take a look at that video as well. Thank you for all of your time today as well, sitting with me through this. Your time's just as valuable as mine. So I hope you've got a lot out of it. I've really enjoyed it. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments. If the videos do well, then I'll do more lives. I've certainly enjoyed it. So yeah, till next time. Peace.